Ryan Pisani pretty objectively didn't put a foot wrong against Shane Thompson. Cole Bedford had his moment, had moments in the match where he could have altered the outcome, couldn't take them, and that's not to say they weren't difficult, but Ryan essentially got played off the table, didn't really do anything wrong, broke well, did everything he's sort of supposed to do, didn't really have a say in the outcome of his match. You can say that Cole Bedford did.
Agreed, although I still don't feel like Cole did a huge amount wrong. Credit Declan with an awful lot of good stuff, but
just played more of a part of the match.
Yeah, he did play much more of a part. I mean, Ryan started so well, you thought, here we go, but he didn't really play a part in the match thereafter. Was it 2 safety or dry break and a safety? That was all he had. But he's got a great chance to start this match the same way he started the last. These are lovely. These really are lovely. The connections here, as long as that's not straight, that's a poor shot if it's straight. Because you wanted to have the turn of angle just to be able to get out onto the next red down. Obviously you can play on that, but you want to play on it and hold. Yeah, that's why he's punched it, just to get a little bit wider. But if the cue ball was a turn further right, as we looked at there, he's just rolling it in and leaves himself just short straight on the next.
Yeah, it made that shot. Just one he had to concentrate on a little bit more, because when you're whistling pots in at that angle, you do have to be accurate. Oh, and he'd have loved to come up half a ball further off this. He's got a good angle, but he's got really awkward cueing.
Yeah, the good news is he does the natural line is fine here, so you just have to concentrate. And the red is close enough that you should never miss that.
The way that he played it looked like he couldn't wait to be rid of that shot, mind. But you must say, the 2 times Ryan Pisani has come to the table and gone on offense, he's looked very, very good indeed. His only other shot in the match was to play a safety shot that Simon Webb called a good choice. And
I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
Changed my mind.
But you know, that just shows that the level that Ryan's playing. He's doing a lot of good things. Cole Bedford, meanwhile, looks like a man who is on the brink.
I still think it was a good choice for Ryan, in terms of you're asking your opponent to come up with a really low percentage finish. The problem is when you do that and your opponent comes up with a finish, then it comes back to bite you. Credit Shane more than criticise Ryan.
That 8 ball was mighty close. So too were a lot of other balls. Yeah, I told you.
More punishment for the break cue.
You do not want to be a Cole Bedford break cue. It's a bad night to be a Cole Bedford break cue.
Well, the bad news is I think he's breaking with his playing cue as well. So be careful there, Cole.
The only positive for him is he's left a pretty tough finish. This is the highest tariff Ryan's taken on tonight, if he takes it on.
Well, it's a similar tariff to the one he decided not to take on against Shane Thompson, and then Shane calmly took him out from a worse position. And sometimes over the course of a night, it almost forces your hand.
Fortune favours the bold and all that.
Yeah. Maybe it's not quite as tough as the one that Shane had. I think that's probably doing Shane a bit of a disservice. That was a pretty routine cannon he just played, and now the Reds look a little bit more achievable. 8 ball does go left to centre. If you could leave the one nearest the top right-hand corner as your last ball, that would be a good connection, but it's not easy to do that. So more likely is some sort of nudge at some point. He's not got there. Snookered himself. First mistake from Ryan in open play tonight. Can see the 1 red. I think he has to be careful here. I think the yellow by the 8 ball might actually go. The reason I didn't like yellows at the start, and the reason he didn't like yellows at the start, was the red's blocking the yellows at the bottom of the table. And that red hasn't come far enough to block that yellow, so if there is room to get to the potting angle and Cole comes immediately to check, then these are all on.
Yeah, it's the first, let's call it, mistake of the night from Ryan Pisani. 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 will be itching to get himself into the night. He's played a bit of a loose one there. The two yellows have just come round and got in the way of each other a touch. It's the sort of thing that 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 needs to find a way to just play himself back into rhythm and form. He's sort of, if you're describing him in football manager terms, he's the sort of manager who kicks every ball. He really lives and dies on every single shot that he plays.
It's come up nicely for him. Yeah, he always shows us exactly how he's feeling.
Yeah, to the extremes as well. Yeah, sometimes reaction-wise, you think he's played the worst shot of his career, and it's maybe slightly iffy and hasn't come out quite right. Really rides the wave of emotions. There's chaos.
I actually think he should have played on the yellow by the 8-ball off the previous shot. I thought if he held on the where the yellow was, just stopped it dead, then he can play the two cushions onto the one that he's just played whilst opening up the 8-ball. Now he's just going to be, even if this still goes, he's just pushing the 8-ball into a bad position.
I think he's going to hit this pretty hard. It's his best bet. It's automatically hitting the 8-ball. Just sort of, well, that phrase, ride the wave, see what comes out. I don't know how well you can control this. But if he's played to control it like that, he's played it beautifully.
Yeah, he's played that very, very well.
His reaction initially said to me that the shot that he's just played looked very, very difficult to do so. But he's ended up making that look pretty routine. So maybe I've been foxed a little bit by the Bedford body language.
I think the reason I didn't like the way he went there was if you land perfect, then it's simple because you pop that and screw back and the 8-ball goes. Whereas if you go the other way around, you know you're potting the yellow clean, not moving the 8-ball at all, and you've got lots of room to play with. So he played a shot where he was crossing a line and had to land perfect to be really simple.
Yeah, and I agree with you. If the yellow that was closest to the black is second last ball, it feels completely routine. There's a lot of margin. As for Ryan Pisani, he needs to recover from his first mistake of the night. That break is continuing to be a piston for him.
3 yellows. Could go yellows. Really difficult first shot. I think it's going to be reds. Reds are fine. One on the cushion, but he's got the perfect ball to get good on it.
Yeah, you don't mind reds here, do you?
Yeah. If the yellow, that's the sort of 3 in the line, if the middle one of the 3 in the line was 2 balls lower, you're taking yellows all day. But reds aren't really a problem. And as I said in the last round, when Declan made 3, it's so rare that if you make 3 of one suit and none of the other, it's so rare that you go the suit that you made 3 of.
Yeah, and for perhaps our viewers who are less au fait with the game at a top level, it might seem weird or alien to you that you make 3 balls of one suit and almost always top players will go the other. That is because top players like themselves options. They don't sort of worry about having to pot 7 balls in a row. It's more about having the options to work the cue ball around that's more important.
The puzzle's a lot easier the more balls you got on the table. Yeah, simple as that. You're not worried about the potting side of it.
I do wonder if Ryan played a slightly loose shot. A couple of shots ago with being flat on the cushion. Yeah, I sort of wonder if the red right in the middle of the table to right centre was a connector to the one on the rail.
It was, and it still is, which is why he left it. He ended up being too high on it. I don't think he'd have minded too much if he was a roll or 2 off the cushion and straighter, because he'd have just raised the butt of the cue. He still had options coming down the table. I don't think his first 2 or 3 shots were particularly good, but he's back in perfect position now, so that's very nice.
Yeah, that was a lovely shot.
I'd actually like to get exactly, or almost exactly where he is now, pop the one bottom right and come back off one cushion and maybe one turn further right, so that you're just sort of stunning down the line towards the red on the cushion. Don't think you need to do anything more extravagant than that. A little bit short. The shot's still on. You just really, you could worry about overhitting this shot now. It might actually just roll. If the natural line of the cue ball here is above the centre pocket, you just roll it in. But it looks like he's going to nip it. You can overdo this easily. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, promise.
Yeah, honestly, so easy to decel on that shot because of the if you're worried about overhitting it and then you sort of decel on it. That was best shot on the visit.
Yeah, a really touchy little shot that from Ryan Pisani. Made it look very, very simple. Good sign that for Ryan. That's the shot of a man who's pretty clearly in form.
Yeah, I think so. A shot of a player that's confident, because I think you're so worried about overdoing it. I'm pretty sure the natural line, if he just rolls that in, would be to be above the centre pocket, so he could roll it in, use the cushion on and off, and then he would have been playing the last one from distance, but becomes more of a guaranteed way.
The coward's way, if you like.
My way.
Bedford is giving his facials a workout tonight.
22 frames to 1.
What I would pay, by the way, to have a face cam throughout the entire 90 minutes and potentially beyond of the Europa League final, Bedford on Wednesday night.
Oh yeah,
that would be box office. His cut breakers finally showed up. Yep, you can see what he thinks about that. That's a big, big moment for Cole, because it just gives him first chances in frames. And I think I'm right in saying this is his first chance in the entire night so far. This is his first break that's connected.
He's got to make the most of it though. Already behind. Should do though. Not sure where he's going with the 8 ball. Looks like right over top left's his last ball, so maybe 8 ball bottom left. It's not, you know, he might get off angle on it, so it's not absolutely guaranteed.
Does he opt to move the yellows, potentially clear the pocket here for the 8 ball?
I think that's a good option, but then the yellow could get in the way of the cue ball to the red, or get in the way of being on the 8 ball again. So I think probably he will use the yellow if he has to be straighter on it. If not, as he hasn't, he's I think he's a little straight here.
To the right hand side, as you saw.
So he's just pulling it back to top right. That's okay. Played that well. Easy to under or overdo that and leave a very awkward 8 ball. Played it perfectly.
Yeah, great finish. And yeah, you're right. No break cue. So yeah, just the one playing cue for Bedford, and you saw earlier after a dry break he stabbed the tip into the floor. That is, I mean, there's a man there who would tell you himself he's made some decisions in his time. I would lightly suggest that's probably not the wisest thing he's ever done.
Yeah, we saw a...
And that is some league table, by the way.
We did at the Players' Championship recently. Rob Chambers' tip came off on his opponent knocked his cue over. Phil Harrison it was, and his tip came flying off before the match, before he played his first shot in the match, and that's a tough scene, and that can happen with what Cole does with his cue, so be careful.
Oh, what a brilliant break again. Pisani's break has been superb tonight. And it's less about how nice the splits are, but it's this sort of power that he's getting through the pack. He actually, in comparison to his others, comes across that one slightly. He's been really good at hitting that top rail straight back with the cue ball, which is always a really good sign of breaking well. That one a little bit across, but you're not grumbling at this split, but they're still going to be made.
You could go both ways here. I'm really interested to see which way he goes. Yeah, half a dozen to 1, 6 to the other here. My first thought was reds. Thought there was a nice pattern on reds, but I think he's been drawn to the yellows. No, he is going to go reds. comes bottom right now and gets him on the one on the top right-hand side. Anything you want to get rid of the red that's nearest the sort of bottom right-hand corner, the one he's about to go past. I would suggest before he gets on the one bottom left, because you don't want to be playing the one that's underneath the yellow to get on the one that's on the right-hand side. So that was the kind of reason I was starting to think about yellows, was that connection.
Yeah, in a weird way. Doesn't look particularly menacing, but that red directly below him now is his problem. And he's got a little bit of work to do here.
I think he's okay, because I think he can hold on the straight. I think he maybe wanted more angle to come back out, but I think if he just kills it in, he'd be okay. Or bring it back past the yellow, yeah. There you go, it's fine.
It's an excellent shot.
Yeah. And that's that was kind of the trying to see the whole finish. You kind of like that ball looked so easy, but if you don't get it out the way before you get on the one on the bottom, you could all of a sudden have a problem with it. So seeing the game clearly, this is a lovely way out for Ryan.
Yeah, excellent. High quality match this. High quality match indeed. 3-2 lead to the P.
Whoever loses this match is going to feel very, very, very sick about the way the night's gone, because the margins are so fine. They really are. Cole is really feeling it out there. Neither is. We're splitting hairs if either have done anything wrong on the night, let alone deserve to be out within 2 matches.
Frame 6, call back to break. Trailing 3 frames.
Goes for a narrow cut break. I always think that gets the 8-ball in motion more. It does, but not near a pocket, but he's made a ball. More work than Ryan's just had. Red and yellow together on the left-hand side. Had the angle to get into it straight away. Don't think he's tied the other red up. I think he might even be able to pot it now. If he doesn't think he can get on it, he might just have to play another little delicate cannon now off the one on the cushion. You could stick on the yellow if he plays that, though. No good.
Exactly as you called it. Touching ball, he needs to find a bit of a miracle here.
Touching ball.
I tell you what, I really must say, there's been a couple of times tonight that I've expected Chaos to fully hit the panic button, and I've been very, very impressed with his ability to sort of play the right shot. That hasn't always been the way for Cole.
Might be a few people at home wondering what was going on there, but because he was touching the red, he's deemed to have already played his ball. So to fulfill a legal shot, all he's got to do is hit a cushion. So that's why he can go off the top cushion and try and get the cue ball back to where it was. And he actually played that excellently because he had very little room to play with.
Yeah, and he's got to go here. He has got a go. He can pot 2 balls. It looks like the double first. That is an excellent effort. Is it going to hang? It is.
Oh, he thought it was in. He thought it was in. He was already halfway around the table. The problem he's got, this is different to the last match where we were talking about the clock. He doesn't have the last break. Ryan Pisani does. So even if Ryan doesn't get out here, he should be able to use up enough of the clock anyway. But if there was a mistake, Cole's not going to get enough time in the next frame. And the Golden Ducks in those situations are so unlikely that this is essentially done.
Yeah, it's hold yourself together time for Ryan. Pot 4 balls and this frame's over. Use the beeps.
Yeah,
just don't do anything silly.
Play the double on the last yellow with 10 seconds to go would be nice. Might not even have to get that far.
be a little cut here, and it's essentially his match ball. Never in doubt, and you can tell no real care or concern what happened with his next two there. He knew all of his attention was on that one pot. This will be his last shot in the match, I would suggest. He's managed this well, Ryan Pisani. Very, very good indeed. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃 shakes his hand, and the P stays alive in the Champions League. All still to play for. And the good news for you at home is it's only going to get more spicy from here. The Destroyer's up next, taking on Shane Thompson in a true heavyweight tussle next.